I'm going to play us some prelude. You're lighting candles. I was going to ask you the same thing. Yes. You got a few minutes. You got a few minutes. I got time.
העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד, והעיקר לא לפחד, לא לפחד כלל, והעיקר לא לפחד כלל. Do it faster, yada-dai, yada-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai. כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being with us online. For those of you at home, thank you, Jack, of course, for our beautiful music. Different opening song tonight for a particular meaning, which is that this is a tsar moment. This is a piece of writing originally written by Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, which has been turned into a song. If any of your kids went to Jewish summer camp, for instance, they know this song, or they know the words from the song, but the meaning is that the entire world is like a narrow bridge, and the ikar, the main point, is not to be afraid. And this, for so many reasons and for so many people, is a scary moment. I guess I'm not going to tell you not to be afraid, because it's a lot to ask of anyone in this moment, but to remember and to keep in mind that despite it all, our job is to do as best as we can to keep moving forward across that little narrow bridge, and to do everything we can. And one way we can do that, how's that for a segue? Hakarat HaTov, is thinking about remembering the good things that we have in our lives. We're going to pass around the microphone, and if you've got something good you want to share, I'd love for you to tell our community the good news. I'm going to add one extra thing that dawned on me last week, which is that if, imagine you're sitting at home on your computer, you have no idea who's saying this, so please say your name and then share your good news. Otherwise, they don't get much out of it. You have anything over here?
Yes.
I think we're on.
My prayers were answered. My 55-year-old nephew who wandered for 3 weeks in India got home yesterday and is staying here.
Mazel tov.
My name's Michael, and I have a good friend that just entered rehab, and I'm hopeful for him, and that's good news.
My name is Elise, and I just wanted to say how grateful I am for Chavarim and family.
I'm thankful for family and friends.
Any good news back there with you? You can't see online, but we've got a couple little girls with the microphone.
My name is Bill, and my good news is that my now 15-year-old son has gotten 3 Division I Big Ten college recruiting offers to play soccer. And Mama and I are so happy if we don't have to pay for college tuition.
That's some pretty good news. You can do it, Hara.
I'm Hara, and I'm thankful. I'm very happy. I have 2 of my good friends here, Jason and Joe, who's visiting me from Jersey. They flew in. They literally landed like an hour ago, and we came straight from the airport.
Thanks for coming, y'all. Okay. I know it's going to feel like that's just a drop in an endless ocean of difficulty, and that might be true, but all the more so, that's a good reason for us to take the time to do that. Before we get to our Shabbat candles, those of you who are excellent at counting may have noticed that I have an extra candle on the table this Shabbat, beyond our lighting candle and our 2 Shabbat candles. Just one of the reasons why this is a difficult Shabbat. For any Jew who's been on social media, let's say, in the last few days, or just a Jew who reads the news and pays attention to the world, you saw the horrid news that we've had the first wave of dead hostages, of bodies coming back from Gaza. And that includes some of the hostages I think many of us deep down knew probably wouldn't come back alive, but also some of the hostages we most desperately wanted to see come back alive. I'm talking about the youngest hostages, about the Bibas family, specifically Ariel and Kfir, who were, one was just a few years old and one wasn't even a year old when they were taken into captivity. Amongst them, too, Oded Lifshitz, who is the eldest of the hostages, came back. His wife was brought back in November as part of a hostage return deal. He stayed in captivity and he didn't make it back alive. So, you know, we knew this day would come. When the beginning of the hostages coming home, we celebrated that together. And nevertheless, it doesn't make it feel any easier that we finally got into this. So I'm going to light a candle for them, and we'll keep it lit for the evening amongst our Shabbat candles. We'll take just a brief moment of silence. Greg, if you want to come up, I'll invite you to lead us in our bracha for lighting the Shabbat candles.
Tonight I am honoring the yahrzeit of my deceased father, who passed away in 1968 at the age of 46, which was 45 days from my bar mitzvah. My mother said, "Do we have to reprint the invitations?" Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Shabbat shalom.
All right, I screwed. Here it goes. Thank you.
All right, we'll continue singing. Oh, hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Continue now with Lecha Dodi. I know this may feel like an abrupt emotional change from one to the next, but for what it's worth, one of the interesting things about Judaism is we don't mourn on Shabbat. Mourning is suspended for Shabbat, so we took our time to think about this. We keep it inside of us. Now let's celebrate the Shabbat for what it is and what we have. So Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, ishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, v'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha. Mirosh mikedem nesucha, sov ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Itoreri, ki va'orech u'mi'ori, uri shir taberi, kod Adonai alayich nikla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Ohi v'shalom sekula, boikala, boikala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat lekabela. We can take our seats as we continue with the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal vitkadash shmei Rabba, ve'alma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yamechon u'v'chayei techol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv, v'yimeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach, le'olam u'al me'al maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal, shmei d'kudsha brichu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, Dahamiran be'alma, v'yimeru amen. We rise again for Baruch Hu, our call to worship. Please be seated. We'll read together in a reflection on the Ma'ariv Aravim. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Sing together in the words of Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Alecha Avta, Amcha Avta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim,
אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמע בקרי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. יהי חיינו לאורך ימינו ובהם נגד יומם ולילה, נגד יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
We close our eyes, we concentrate, we take our full focus as we say our Shema, reflecting on the oneness of God. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leholam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם Adonai Elohechem Emet. Let's read responsively before we head into our Michamocha. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory, make earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered, at Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again you overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Michamocha.
Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף אלי, נורא תהילות אוסף אלי, אדוני ימלך לעולם ועד. יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די, yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom, ve'amidenu malkeinu lechayim. Uvros aleinu sukkot shlomecha, uvros aleinu sukkot shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai, guard us from all harmful things. O Adonai, keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. O Adonai, Amen. Amen.
We sing together for the glory of Shabbat Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם. ברית עולם בני ובני ישראל הודי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת בארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש.
We rise now as we begin our Amidah, the central prayer of our service, singing together over the next few slides. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufiat ata Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Abateinu Bimotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Mekoneh HaKol, Mezocher Chatei Alkot Timahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atarav Le'Hoshiach, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Tomech Noflim Berofeh Koholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayeh Emunato, Vishenei Afar, Ichamocha Bal Gevuros, Umidaho Melech, Melech Lemit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Natala Chayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol, Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yahalu Chasela, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Continue now with our Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adom lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adom lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Letov Be'enecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol et ubechol sha'ah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We turn to our Misha Berach, our prayer for healing. At this time, our community prays for healing for Lauren Belts, Deborah Birch, Obadiah Booker, Sheila Boniface, the Cuomo family, Ben Zucker, Beverly Curry, Zoe Gertie, Bob Grossman, Jonathan Grossman, Jennifer Hall, Richard Hassel Bennett, Elaine Heightfield, Sylvie and Jack Hooker, Jim Hochberg, Marty Ingram, Hele Yankovic, Gail Johnson, Jubilee Jones, Lenny Kleiner, Janet Kravitz, Skylar Kunz, James Layden, Joanne Lieb, Barbara Bernstein-Litvak, Zila Gershon Ben Chanoch Leb HaKohen, Grayson Malkin, Eva Minichi, Vincent Minichi, Mark and Angie Martin, Jenny Meyer, Eleanor Meshkow, Daryl Moskowitz, Eileen Ness, Leslie Lisnek-Pate, Leslie Payne, Deb Pelletier, Yehudit Bas Reisel, Seisel Ben Reisel, Merrill Rao, Phil Ryan, Evelyn Roos, David Rosenberg, Michael Shear, Lauren Sherman, Louis Simon, Barry Simon, Sarah Singerman, Jason Snyder, Machaya Stoneman, Ariel Strauss, Jim Tanner, and Lauren Yaffe. If you have a name that you'd like to add to that list, someone for whom you'd like us all to pray for healing, body, mind, or spirit, I invite you to say their name as my hand passes over you.
Sandy Meyer.
Of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Nisheberach imotenu vekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Take a moment now for our own private reflections.
acceptable unto you, God, my rock and my redeemer. Rocks, words of acceptable unto you, God, my rock and my redeemer. God, my rock and my redeemer.
Last week, my 9-year-old randomly asked me what a Nazi is. Those of you who know me know I don't have a 9-year-old, so this must be fiction in some way. That's how a post began earlier this week in an online forum that I read, so not my 9-year-old. It continued. It caught me off guard. I'm going to catch this Talit eventually. It caught me off guard, but I guess he heard the term at school and was too shy to ask the kids about it. His internet and screen time in general is very limited, so it's not something he can research on his own. We had a very long conversation about the Holocaust. The post is continuing if you haven't caught on. Long conversation about the Holocaust, and I even showed him some age-appropriate pictures of concentration camps. He also saw some pictures of a Nazi salute and asked me about that. What he didn't tell me is that some kid at school has been doing it. So I explained the best I could and made it clear that it's never okay to do, even as a joke. He asked me, what if someone does it to me? Half jokingly, I told him, you punch them in the face because they're evil. He's never been violent or even in any fights that I know of, so I didn't think anything of it. Fast forward to today. I get a call from school. My kid punched someone twice and sprained his wrist doing it. I go to pick him up and find out what happened, and I guess another kid was walking around during recess doing the salute and did it right in front of my kid's face. My kid punched him in the nose and then the mouth and was yelling and calling him evil. I'm not sure how to react. My wife is mad that I told him to punch someone. I'm not mad at all. Actually, I'm kind of proud. I want my kid to know I'm proud without making him think it's okay to keep punching people. Overall, it's a mess today. That's more or less how the post ends. I took out little liberties here. I suppose it's important for y'all to know that most people on the internet forum have decided that this story is probably fake. Somehow, though, it still doesn't feel particularly far-fetched. From my time working in Jewish community relations and fighting anti-Semitism, I can tell you that stories like this happen all the time, even here in Cincinnati. That is, there are plenty of kids who think it's funny to make light of Nazis, Hitler, and the Holocaust, and to even jokingly reenact things like Nazi salutes. Maybe in light of that, we shouldn't be all too shocked about the actual Nazis that were demonstrating recently in Lockland. When it happened on a Friday afternoon, not too long before services that night, we here thought about sending a message out to the community. Eventually, we decided against it. For better or for worse, we didn't want the way you first heard about the disturbing news to be a simple text message from our synagogue, which could have made it feel all the more scarier in that moment. Nevertheless, it's time to talk about it. Again, it's hardly the first occasion there's been an act of hate of this kind, even in Cincinnati, in recent months. I'm sure many of you remember the Save Ireland from the Jews banner that was hung over at another overpass. And other neo-Nazi groups, like Blood Tribe Ohio, have been marching around Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland with growing frequency. So, certainly, this isn't new. Here's what's different, though. Unlike in other cases, there seems to be a growing outcry from the community that enough is enough. It's hard to say why exactly. It could be dissatisfaction with how the Evendale law enforcement officers' response went when it all happened. It could be what we might call the Trump effect, where the threat white supremacist pose is even more acutely felt now in certain marginalized communities. It could be that neo-Nazis in this case specifically targeted the black community rather than their other frequent targets, that is Jews and the LGBTQ community, and that as a result of that, the black community in town is larger and more vocal than us or the Rainbow Coalition. In truth, though, I think it's the narrative that erupted out of how the news broke. That when the Nazis showed up, residents of Laughlin confronted them and chased them away. That is an easy, mostly empowering story that captures people's attention. Whatever the reason, momentum has grown. It seems that communal discontent with the growing extremist presence in our region will not be easily quieted. It's time to do something. But what? Well, I am going to be putting myself at odds with colleagues whom I know and trust by saying this. And I'll also probably put myself at odds with what a great many of our gut instincts say, so don't punch me in the face for saying it. Vigilantism cannot be the answer. As luck has it, there was an event a couple of days ago that helps to show why. I don't know if any of you read about this, but in Miami, I think it was somewhere in Florida. Of course it was Florida. 2 Israelis in the US on vacation were shot. Thank God, both of them survived, and neither was particularly seriously injured. It was almost no time at all before one of the Israeli victims posted online that it had been an anti-Semitic attack. And he even went so far as to blame Arabs for the violence. Here's the rub. The Israelis were not attacked by Arabs or Muslims or anyone else even sympathizing with the Palestinian cause. Instead, they were shot by an American Jew who thought they were Palestinians. I'll give you a moment to take that one in. He thought they were Palestinians, decided to take matters into his own hands, and pulled out a gun. Of course, I just want to say this outright directly. It wouldn't be any better had they turned out to have been Palestinians. But that just emphasizes the point. These 2 Israelis somehow wound up being the victims of an Islamophobic attack. And it's because when people engage in vigilantism, bad things happen. The vigilante justice of confronting the Nazis on the bridge is absolutely heroic in retelling. It makes a great narrative. But it could have ended so much worse. But for a bit of dumb luck, we would now be telling the story of how 30 members of Cincinnati's black community were shot to death by Nazis on a local bridge. What's worse, actually, I don't think this is worse. That would have been worse. But add to that, much as we abhor them, the Nazis, and their behavior and their language, they weren't engaging in illegal activity, except at most on technicalities. There are ways for us to change the law to make it illegal in the future. And I bet many of you would support that. But as of now, it isn't illegal. And physically attacking people for exercising their First Amendment rights is not how we're supposed to solve disagreements in the United States. The US is meant to be a nation of laws, a concept we share with our Jewish tradition, where we are a nation of mitzvot. So what do? We gather, we plan, we act. In 2 weeks, at noon, on Saturday, March 8th, in Washington Park, Cincinnati's will be gathering to proclaim that we won't stand idly or quietly by as extremists terrorize the most vulnerable among us. In 2 weeks, I hope you will join me and our community there in Washington Park as we say what our ancestors at Sinai said thousands of years ago, responding to the call of their time, Na'aseh v'nishma. And Jer, I'll have you pop back a second to that QR code. You don't have to scan it now, but we will be sharing information on this. We will be meeting up that Saturday morning in advance of the rally. We will have a short Shabbat prayer service down by Washington Park, and then we'll go over as Temple Sholem, and we'll put our values out for the community to see. We can keep going again. Na'aseh v'nishma. These are the words that were proclaimed. Too much has been written on them already. Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will listen. Why that order? Why that pair? I leave it to your imaginations. I won't add to the ink spillage. I leave it to your imaginations to parse out the meaning within them. Na'aseh v'nishma, though, at the very least, could never have been easy. When the Israelites stood at Sinai's foot, while they spoke in one voice, they must have been a conflicted group. After all, the same Israelites who in Parshat Mishpatim, this week's Torah portion, listened to God's charge and cried out their allegiance to it, Na'aseh v'nishma, those are the same Israelites who in story after story in the Tanakh fight with one another. They might have managed to speak in chorus in this one instance, but generally, their relationships were anything but harmonious. If I can create what I would call a new midrash, I wonder what it would have been like at the foot of Sinai when the Israelites were listening to God's commands. Could it have been that Korach, the most infamous Israelite, whose story from the book of Numbers we'll read in a few months, could it have been that he stood shoulder to shoulder with Aaron and Miriam, whom he later tried to depose? After all, they were each leaders. They probably had places of honor within the community. They probably had seats on the bima, so to speak. So as they stood shoulder to shoulder, I imagine, and chanted, Na'aseh v'nishma, we'll do and we'll listen, did Korach already know that he'd soon rebel against Aaron, Miriam, and Moses? Could Aaron and Miriam tell that the man just to their side would seek their downfall? Did Moses know that a man in the audience would soon be betraying him? Now, big flashing red lights. This is all hyper-fictional, which is to say it's not even midrash, it's just my own imagination running wild with the text. Still, there are real-world manifestations of it. Undoubtedly, at Washington Park, any of us present will stand shoulder to shoulder with people who would willingly harm our community for reasons other than white supremacy or neo-Nazism. Among some organizing to be present, undoubtedly, are members of groups who actively harass Jews, for instance, turning Zionism into a dirty word that can be used to antagonize us. It won't be easy to stand shoulder to shoulder with them. However, had Aaron or Miriam or anyone else already in conflict chosen to withdraw from Sinai's foot due to infighting, Na'aseh v'nishma would have meant quite a bit less. So we guard our souls and unite in purpose, even if only temporarily. We accept that some of our allies are friends for a movement and others just for a moment, and that's good enough. One of the most important lessons, perhaps, are Parsha Mishpatim, which portrays the great moment at Mount Sinai when Moses ascended to receive the law. One of the most important lessons comes in its symbol endurance. While nations, peoples, kings, and governments have come and gone through millennia, not only have Jews remained, but the story of our foundational moment of national formation has remained. From Charlton Heston in the Ten Commandments to Val Kilmer voicing Moses, I actually just learned this recently, voicing Moses in The Prince of Egypt, the story of our redemption, then encounter with the divine, of how we rallied and gathered as a people, has stood the test of ages. On March 8th, among the other stories that will probably bounce around in the minds of those in attendance, we will bring our fullest selves as Jews. We are a people who have fought for justice, for freedom, for our rights, and for what is right, countless times over the years. I know this, and we know this. We have outlived many nations and movements which have tried to extinguish us before. We'll be around long after The goons who call themselves neo-Nazis are forgotten memories. So let's show up and make it known, na'aseh v'nishma. Our Cincinnati Jewish community is strong. It is allies with many, many others, and it isn't going anywhere. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. We'll rise together as we continue with our Aleinu prayer. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gidula yotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam. Anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. We can take our seats. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you with something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live on in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me most by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. This week, our congregation marks the yard sites, the death anniversaries of Pat Betts, Roberta Kogan, Adeline Ekman, Emery Grubbs, Henry Harris Jr., Wolf Ingber, Gertie Kersner, Mark Lister, Bernard Ness, Bernhard Reich, Robert Setzer, Gerald Schreiberg, Bernard Spector, and Sylvia Strauss. We also mark the more recent passing Peggy Battistone. Are there any other names that you would like to add to this list of yard sites, people who died at this time in years past? Of course, we add to the martyrs of our people, all who have worked for Am Yisrael, the people of Israel, and its safety, and every life that has been senselessly lost. We rise together for the Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbi, ve'alma divrach irutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, V'agala v'izman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach leolam almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran ve'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min Shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories all be for a blessing, and together we say, Amen. Please be seated.
Oseh shalom b'mramav. עשה שלום עלינו. ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
I'd like to invite up Sarah Jane to share our announcements with us. I yield the lectern to you.
Shabbat Shalom. February 27th at 6 p.m., there will be Queer Door Study with Rabbi at Ish Garage. See weekly email for registration information. Also on February 27th at 5:30, there will be book club at Max Pizza in downtown Blue Ash. Everyone is welcome. March 8th at noon, Queen City United stand in solidarity against white supremacy. Meet in front of the Cincinnati Shakespeare Company at 10:30 a.m. See the registration information in the weekly email. March 14th at 6:30 p.m. is the Purim celebration, a wicked, wicked spiel. Interested in participating? Please contact Marta Hyland. March 22nd, Legacy Society concert, 6:30 p.m. reception for Legacy members. Please RSVP. It looks like it's going to be magnificent.
Thank you. Now, I might have spaced out for a second. And if that's the case, you tell me. We have Mishloach Manot in there?
No.
Okay, so I didn't space out. That's good.
You didn't have book club in here either.
Well, so book club on March 27th, right? Yeah. At whatever month we are. February 27th, 5:30? 5:30. I got the time. So if you want more information, do they reach out to you?
Yes.
Reach out to Sarah Jane. And Mishloach Manot, I think we have 10 days left to put in your order and any donation you want to make for that. I talk about this in Sunday's message that'll go out. But this is our actual gift-giving holiday in Judaism, is Mishloach Manot for Purim, so like we should do it. We make Hanukkah work, but this is the one. So let's make it an awesome holiday. And I think that's everything. I have no other bonus announcements beyond that. Let's go on. We will say our Kiddush and Motzi together. Your girls have been remarkably well behaved. Do they want to come up for Kiddush and Motzi? They at least get some challah out of it. Yeah? I'm impressed. Okay, so we will sing together. You won't get this. You won't get the wine. That's a bad idea, but you will get the challah. We'll sing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'avav ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lemahaseh v'reishit. Kihu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, im kol minim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, Infaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. All right. So let's uncover our challah here. Well, you can have more challah now. Now you put each couple of fingers on it, and we get to the end, rip off as much as you want. Okay? Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Te'avon. Grab a piece. As much as you want. That's all you want? Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Good job. Really good job. All right, our closing song tonight. I don't think I'm. Oh, no, wait. I am skipping something. I knew I was skipping something. Birkat Kohanim, our priestly blessing, then our closing song. So go ahead and, as is our custom, if you feel comfortable doing so, hold the hand of the person next to you, and we'll sing together.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chenecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, shalom, shalom. V'yasem lecha shalom, shalom, v'yasem lecha shalom, 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 v'yasem lecha shalom, shalom, v'yasem lecha shalom, 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 v'yasem lecha shalom, shalom, v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God bless you and keep you. May God shine God's face upon you and bring you grace. May God lift God's countenance upon you and grant you peace, to which we all say, Amen. And now, our closing song, we sing, if you know Od Yavo Shalom, again, a song, a prayer that we so much need right now. I don't have a translation on there. It means peace will come to us. And salam means peace, for those of you who don't know it. You ready? Following me. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'hakulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'hakulam. Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'hakulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'hakulam. Shabbat Shalom.